So hello everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about Google off campus interview experience. तो यार आज की इस पूरी वीडियो में हम जानेंगे कि गूगल में आप किस तरीके से सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर की जो प्रोफाइल है वो आप क्रैक कर सकते हैं और इसके लिए क्या क्या रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती हैं। तो यार क्या क्या लेवल्स होते हैं गूगल के इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस के। तो यार आज की इस पूरी वीडियो में हम जानेंगे कि हाउ अत्री क्रैक गूगल एज अ सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर। सर आज की पूरी वीडियो लास्ट तक जरूर देखना और अपने दोस्तों के साथ जरूर शेयर करना। तो ज्यादा देर ना करते यार हम आज की वीडियो शुरू करते हैं। सो हेलो अत्री, कैन यू प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ, योर ग्रेजुएशन एंड योर कोडिंग बैकग्राउंड, ताकि सबको थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया हो सके इसके बारे में।
So, hey everyone, I'm Attri and I'm a software developer. Currently, I work as a software engineer at Google. And I started off my BTech in computer science and engineering from one of the tier 3 colleges here in Kolkata. And in the third year of my college, I got an internship in one of the companies here that work in telecom domain, specifically in 5G. And I got a PPO offer from there, and then I worked around 1 year as a full-time engineer in that company. Then I decided to switch my domain and wanted to explore all the domains that are out there. So I started working at Swiggy as a software dev engineer, and I've been working there mostly in the ads team, and now I work as a software engineer at Google.
ओके आई होप तो यार आपको इनकी ग्रेजुएशन और इनकी कोडिंग बैकग्राउंड के बारे में कुछ आइडिया हो चुका होगा। सो माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू अत्री इज दैट कि हाउ यू गॉट दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी एट गूगल एंड व्हाट्स योर करंट जॉब प्रोफाइल एट गूगल और क्या काम होता है वहाँ पर अभी आपका।
Okay, so that's an interesting question actually. I was actually not looking out for any change, but all of a sudden, very unexpectedly, a recruiter from Google reached out to you asking that whether I am interested in giving an interview, and I said yes, because Google is one of my dream companies to work for. So I took preparation for around 3 weeks. I interviewed there, and that's how things happened. And regarding the job profile, I also work in the ads team here at Google, specifically in the search ads team. And regarding the profile, I have joined as a front-end engineer.
ओके आई होप यार यहाँ पर आपको इनके जॉब प्रोफाइल और हाउ ही गॉट दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी के बारे में एग्जैक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल गई होगी। सो अत्री माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू इज दैट कि हाउ मेनी इंटरव्यू राउंड्स आर देयर एट गूगल एंड योर कंप्लीट इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस। थोड़ा बहुत ब्रीफ में बता दो कि कितने इंटरव्यू राउंड्स हुए थे और क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं, तो एक बार सबको आइडिया हो जाएगा।
Yeah, so the interview, the process in Google itself is very interesting. The recruiter tells you everything that you'll be evaluated on, the topics from which the questions are going to come, and what is expected out of you, not in terms of only solution, but what characteristics, what behavioral characteristics would be taken care of, would be looked at during the interview process. So post that, you'll have a phone screening round. So this is most of like a pre-qualifier. So the question standards here are not very high, so you can expect intermediate level questions here. So you'll be evaluated against your problem solving skills, how you ask questions, how you take feedbacks from the interviewer and you incorporate those in your answers. So yeah, post that round, if you get a green signal, then you will have 4 on-site rounds. Now these 4 on-site rounds will be virtual, of course, and out of this, the 3 rounds will be primarily based on data structures and algorithms, and the 4th round would be a behavioral round, which we call Googliness. It's more of a cultural fit round, how you fit into the Google culture. So yep, those were the main rounds. Now once you're done with all the rounds, the interviewer will rate you based on will give you a higher call or a no higher call or a strong higher call or a strong no higher call. Based on this, they take all the feedbacks together, and it is being sent to the hiring committee. So the hiring committee at Google will decide whether you'll be hired or not, and post the hiring committee decision comes, then you're hired. And then of course the compensation and all that gets discussed, and finally you receive the offer letter.
ओके दैट्स वेरी ग्रेट इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस. तो आई होप यार यहाँ पर आपको पता लग गया हो कि गूगल के इंटरव्यू में एग्जैक्टली कितने राउंड्स होते हैं और हाउ वाज हिज इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस, ताकि यार आपको भी क्वेश्चंस का आइडिया हो जाए. सो माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू इज दैट कि यू हैव वर्क फॉर 2 to 2.5 years but still you are a software engineer at Google, not SD2 और some other profile. So क्या है यहाँ पर, इसके बारे में एक बारी थोड़ी बहुत इन्फॉर्मेशन बता दो. क्या कोई अलग लेवल है यहाँ पर सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स का, या फिर गूगल में कौन से लेवल्स होते हैं, उन्हें SD2 कहते हैं, SD3 कहते हैं, तो सबको आइडिया हो जाएगा.
Yeah, so levels at Google starts from SWE2. So software engineer 2 is the entry level is for the entry level engineers. So that's called L3 here. Now on top of that we have the L4, which is software engineer 3. Those are for like the intermediate engineers. Then comes the L5, which is equivalent to a senior software engineer. And on top of that you have L6, which is more of a staff software engineer. Above that you have L7, which is senior staff software engineer. So just to give you a quick idea about what each of this level means. So the software engineer 2 is an entry level role, and software engineer 3 is again for intermediate engineers, and the L5s, the senior software engineers, they usually lead teams here. They lead a small team. And L6 leads a large team. So a large team that is composed of many small teams out here. Okay. Then you have more levels out there like L9, L10, which are director level, vice president level, senior vice president level. So yep.
ओके तो आई होप यार यहाँ पर आपको सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर लेवल्स एट गूगल के बारे में काफ़ी आइडिया हो गया होगा. So my next question to you is that कि what was your preparation strategy for Google as well as for Swiggy, क्योंकि दोनों ही ड्रीम कंपनीज है हर एक फ्रेशर के लिए, हर एक सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर के लिए जो भी प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड कंपनी में जाना चाहता है. तो एक बार इसके बारे में भी आइडिया दे दो.
Yeah, so preparation strategy for Swiggy and Google are a bit different. Google only evaluates you on data structures and algorithms. There's no specific round for system design. There's no specific round for low-level design. But when it comes to Swiggy, you have very specific rounds for those as well. So as a fresher, you don't need to worry too much about high-level design, but there is low-level design round for sure, which is the machine coding round. So in Swiggy, you have the machine coding round at the very first. Then you'll be evaluated on a couple of data structures and algorithms round. And finally, you will have the hiring manager round, where you are evaluated behaviorally and what sense of technology you have and how you can make progress in the company. All of this are evaluated in the hiring manager. Whereas in Google, the focus is mostly on DSA, and you'll have to prepare medium level and medium hard level questions when it comes to Google. So if I talk about my preparation strategy, I had been practicing data structures and algorithms for quite some time. Since the first year of my college, I have been participating in coding competitions, and that's added benefit that I had. So first I took each topic one by one and I practiced problems from them. Let's say 20-30 questions from arrays, 20-30 questions from recursions, both beginner level, medium level and hard level. Now post that, there's the company specific study that you have to do. Now LeetCode is a site where you have questions tagged with companies. So there are a lot of cards out there. That's Google specific, that's Amazon specific, that's Microsoft specific. So if you practice those cards during your interview preparation, let's say the last 3 weeks or a month before your interview, then those are the best resources to practice that will give you an overall idea of, as to what levels of question does Google ask. And primarily when it comes to Google, it's medium hard and hard level questions.
ओके तो आई होप यार यहाँ पर आपको इनकी गूगल और स्विगी को कैसे प्रिपेयर करना है, किस तरीके से क्रैक करना है, उसकी कंप्लीट स्ट्रैटेजी पता लग गई होगी. सो माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू अत्री इज दैट कि डज डिग्री मैटर्स इन सच प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड कंपनीज, क्योंकि यहाँ पर मेजर क्राउड BCA, MCA, BSc मैथ्स और नॉन CA स्टूडेंट्स का है. तो सजेशंस फॉर BCA, BSc, MCA एज वेल एज नॉन CA स्टूडेंट्स आपकी क्या रहेगी यहाँ पर?
So ideally, the degree doesn't really matter when it comes to a job profile. But you know, CA students have a preference over the others when the job application is submitted. So that's an inclination that the companies have towards the CA students when it comes to software engineering. But if you are able to prove your skills, show in your resume that you have relevant skills and a good level of expertise in those skills, and if you can prove those during your interview, no one will stop you from joining these companies. So what matters most is the skills. Your degree is secondary, although that matters, but it doesn't stop you from getting the job there. Your task might be a bit difficult, but it is not impossible.
ओके तो आई होप यार यहाँ पर जो BCA, BSc और नॉन CA स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनको कंप्लीट आइडिया हो गया होगा कि इस तरीके की कोई भी बाउंड्री नहीं है आपके लिए कि प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड कंपनी डिग्री या फिर ये सारी चीज़ें देखेंगी. सो माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू अत्री इज दैट व्हाट आर द एग्जैक्ट पर्क्स ऑफ वर्किंग एट गूगल दैट यू हैव एक्सपीरियंस इन दीज पास्ट मंथ्स दैट यू आर वर्किंग एट गूगल?
Okay, so when it comes to parks at Google, the list is never ending. So I'll still try to mention, you know, the best parks out there that you see. So the first thing that comes is the financial perks or the pay here. So the pay is really competitive out here, and you get rewards in a few formats. So you have the base salary. On top of that, you have performance bonus. You have joining bonus. You have equity and stocks. So one of the good things and unique things in Google is that the equity is front loaded. So usually it gets divided into 4 years, and usually companies out there divide it like 25% in each year. But what Google does is it gives you 33% in the first year, 33% in the second year, and 22% in the third year, and 12% in the fourth year. So that's an amazing thing that very few companies out there in the market do. Now coming to the medical insurance part. So Google covers you, your family, including your parents and even your in-laws, in medical insurance. So there are on-site doctors and nurses to consult. You have massage chairs in the office so that you can relax there. You receive credit scores that you can utilize to use those massage chairs. Then from the fitness side, you have on-site gym, and in offices where there is no on-site gym, they provide you with gym reimbursements. So that's again a great perk here at Google. So you get cab facility. A cab will pick you up from your home and take you to office, and will drop you home when you come back. And the most celebrated thing here is the food. Although I haven't been able to experience it myself, but what I've heard from people is that the food is great here. You have counters to make you custom coffee and custom tea. Then you have micro kitchens in Google, where if you need to grab a quick snack, you can go there and prepare your own coffee, or take any quick snack from there. So again, food is the most celebrated part here in Google. And there are a lot more things to mention out here. So there is a internal website in Google called the Techstop, from where you can order stuff for your productivity. You can order monitors, you can order headphones, and you can order anything that you think will boost your productivity. So you can order a phone for yourself as well, as long as it is used for your development purpose. So those are the main perks that you see out there in Google, and there are a lot more, but it will be never ending to describe all of them.
तो यार आई होप यार यहाँ पर आपको पर्क्स ऑफ वर्किंग एट गूगल एज अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर पता लग गए होंगे. तो आई होप ये सारी चीज़ें आपको मोटिवेट कर रही होंगी और मेहनत करने के लिए और क्रैक करने के लिए टॉप प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड कंपनीज. सो माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू अत्री इज दैट कि काफ़ी सारे स्टूडेंट्स कंफ्यूज रहते हैं डेवलपमेंट वर्सेस डीएसए को लेके इन कॉलेज लाइफ. तो व्हाट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू यू? तो आपका इसके ऊपर क्या पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रहेगा?
Okay, so DSA and development is not either or. You have to do both in case you want to shine. DSA will get you the job. Development will help you retain that job. So data structures and algorithms are primarily for interviews, and you won't be using a segment tree or a Fenwick tree in your day-to-day development. Okay? So you might use them, but that's very rare. So the main point here is that to get the job, you'll need knowledge of DSA. But once you enter the job, it's clearly development. So you need to understand the basics of object-oriented programming. You need to understand what is DBMS. You need to understand what is operating system. And you need to develop a hands-on project based on any framework that's out there, to understand how the development lifecycle works, and that's how you'll be able to shine once you enter the company.
ओके तो आई होप यार यहाँ पर आपको डीएसए एंड डेवलपमेंट दोनों के इंपॉर्टेंस के बारे में पता लग गया होगा. सो माय लास्ट क्वेश्चन ऑफ दिस अमेजिंग पॉडकास्ट इज दैट कि व्हाट इज योर सजेशन फॉर अ फ्रेशर और अ स्टूडेंट जो कि ओपन या फिर किसी टीयर 3 या फिर टीयर 2 कॉलेज से अपनी डिग्री परस्यू कर रहा है, चाहे वो कोई भी डिग्री हो, तो उसके लिए आपकी क्या सजेशन होगी कि क्या वो भी इस लेवल तक पहुंच सकता है, या फिर उसे क्या क्या चीज़ें करनी चाहिए थी जिस तरीके से आपने की ताकि वो इस लेवल तक पहुंच सके?
Okay, so the first thing would be to study DSA hard and to prepare out a strategy as to how to study that in a very structured way. So like I mentioned, you'll have to study each subject or each topic in DSA one by one in the initial phases. So let's say you are studying arrays. Study that and then practice 20-30 questions of different levels for that topic. And eventually, this is how you will cover all these topics, and then start practicing miscellaneous questions. So miscellaneous questions will give you a boost in confidence as to, right, when you get a question in an interview, they won't tell you if it's an array question or a recursion question or a backtracking question. It's you who have to find it out. So miscellaneous questions are important from that perspective, to understand from which topic that question belongs. So it's important to practice miscellaneous questions as well, and at different levels. Now what I usually suggest is to participate in coding competitions, and although it's up to you, it's not mandatory, but if you do it, it's good. It will give you a sense of completing in a time bound fashion, because in interviews the difficult part is that you have 45 minutes. 5 minutes goes in introduction and you're left with 40 minutes. So this is divided into 2 blocks of 20 minutes. In 20 minutes you have to solve one question. So that's the difficult part here. Looking at a question, understanding how the question is, from which topic it is, and then giving out the solution, and then coding it out. So everything has to be done in 20 minutes, which is a pretty difficult thing, I believe. So you have to be pro at what you do, okay? And you have to understand what you are saying from the very deep. So yeah, giving coding competitions will help you in solving the question in a very time bound manner. So then when your this preparation is done, topic wise preparation, miscellaneous preparation is done, and after you give quite a few coding competitions, then when you have an interview scheduled, then you can prepare company specific questions. Like you can figure out lead code cards for company specific questions, or you can search Geeks for Geeks. They have sets of company specific question as well. So you can go there, figure out question for those companies and practice them one by one. And yeah, with that you'll be able to crack any company out there.
तो आई होप यार यहाँ पर आपको इस पूरे पॉडकास्ट में पूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल गई थी कि हाउ अत्री क्रैक गूगल एंड उसका पूरा इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस. तो आई होप यार यहाँ पे इस पॉडकास्ट से आपकी प्रिपरेशन, आपकी जो कोडिंग जर्नी, आपकी कॉलेज लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ इंपॉर्टेंस या फिर हेल्प ज़रूर मिली होगी. तो अगर आपको ये पॉडकास्ट अच्छा लगा हो तो डू लाइक दिस वीडियो एंड do subscribe my channel, and if you want to connect with Attri or me, the LinkedIn IDs are given in the description box. तो आज की वीडियो के लिए इतना ही. थैंक यू सो मच.